thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We have discussions today about Tibor Nagy's outings. I know we all know Tibor Nagy. We know Tibor Nagy, who has been very outspoken when it comes to the struggle for the liberation of Southern Cameroon. So today I want us to talk about him. We'll also talk about the outing of Ngang, our Iron Lady, who has been sentenced to 46 months in U.S. jail. And we'll be talking about the referendum. The referendum, we all know, is the discussion of the day, and we want to bring our own insight about what we think of the referendum. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We all know Tibor Nagy, and today I'll bring some excerpt of him, and he's the U.S. Undersecretary of State, former U.S. Undersecretary of State. You know, he has been on the Amazonian struggle since he was the Honorable Ambassador for United States in Africa. And as a former U.S. diplomat to Africa, Tibor Nagy has said he hopes that the Amazonian struggle will go to a just full end, okay? And all along we have heard him make comments, we've heard him make a lot of tweets about the struggle. So today I want to bring some of his tweets and his videos, and we try to see how we can talk about it. Yeah. First of those is outing when he came out with Comrade Chris Anno on the TV. So we'll take a listen and we'll come back to that.
Mr. Ambassador, you have been on this issue for, since it escalated.
Since 1991.
Right. Are you not aware that there is the interim government of Ambazonia that is essentially prosecuting the war on the ground? It commands the fighting force on the ground, and it commands the diplomatic aspect of the struggle.
Do they have a foreign minister?
They do, sir.
Well,
are you saying that you were never contacted during your tenure in office?
No, I was not. I was absolutely not. I had many visits from the Cameroonian government and the Cameroonian embassy, but I was never once contacted by somebody, who was allegedly the foreign minister of the whole Anglophone cause. And we need to get the practicalities. I deal in the practical and the realistic, not the ideological or the ideal. That's the kind of thing that needs publicity. It needs the Cameroonian communities to promote it, and it needs a fairly somewhat diplomatic outreach. As we have discussed, of course, Somaliland is a functioning state. So for Somaliland, it's quite easy to send around their representatives. But during the American War of Independence, how active the revolutionaries were in promoting the point of view of those who wanted to break away from England.
Apart from the division that you just mentioned, what would you be expecting the Ambazonian diaspora, the interim government again that prosecutes the struggle, to be doing, sir?
Well, if they're that interested, they better be sending delegations to Congress and corresponding with their members of Congress, writing op-eds for the newspapers. I'll tell you, during my time as Assistant Secretary, I think in those years I heard from a handful of members of Congress. There was one member of Congress that I really applauded because he was very, very proactive in this regard. But it was not what I would say a, kind of a hardcore effort or some kind of a, political movement.
Yeah, so we've got a glimpse about the discussion that happened with President Chris, and we are listening to a diplomat who knows the Cameroon history. He knows the Southern Cameroon history. He knows what transpired leading towards the referendum, from the plebiscite to the referendum and to the federal system, and up to the abolition of the federal system to one party and one state. And those are the trends of events that we all know. But most people say we don't have to talk about history. But when you want to put something on context, history is a remembrance of people's past. When you say don't think about history, people will tend to not understand what you mean, because most people will tell you Ambazonia's case is very special. Why? Because we had a vote at the United Nations on Ambazonia-Southern Cameroon. So this debate is not even the debate that we should be talking about anymore. The Southern Cameroonian country of Southern Cameroon was elected and voted as an independent country in 1961. So whatever argument anybody brings, they have to think what, and this happens to every country. All the countries that voted for the independence of Southern Cameroon, Ambazonia, still maintain their vote. Okay, it means that they voted for the independence of Southern Cameroon. They did not vote for the maybe federal system of the no. They voted for the Southern Cameroon to be independent. Until date, all 64 countries that voted for the independence of Southern Cameroon still maintain that vote. Now, Tibor Nagy made a mention of historical aspects and all those, okay? But from the perspective of understanding how we move forward, he mentioned a lot of issues about unity, collaboration, and how we're gonna discuss this. But when Tibor Nagy was acting or was still in power as the secretary, under secretary, this is the statement he made during the hearing, in Congress.
From that part as well. My understanding is there may be some limited DRL and CSO programming, but I would defer to the Assistant Secretary on that. And there is some humanitarian emergency food and preventative health work that has been done, but that would predate COVID. So everything the Assistant Secretary said is definitely true from the aid standpoint as well. Our ability to operate in that part is quite difficult. But overall, of course, we have about 18 million in Cameroon right now in health and humanitarian assistance, and we can certainly get back to you on where that actually is going.
Actually, my next question was going to be for you, Mr. Maloney, and it has to do with that very thing, and that is having to do with how do we ensure that some of that 18 million is actually getting to the Anglophone region. Is there any way we can ensure that happens?
It's difficult, it's challenging. It's definitely a conversation that I think we should have with Ambassador Ballerin. I mean, this is something that the Assistant Secretary and I would talk about all the time in given countries when we have issues like this. So this is something I think we can definitely take back and first just get a better understanding of where things are geographically in Cameroon right now with that supplemental, and we can then revert back on any sort of next steps out of that. But Assistant Secretary?
Yeah, if I may add, anything having to do with Cameroon has to be overlaid with the problem of the conflict that's going on. For example, now the Cameroonian government is talking about a new UN development program for the Northwest and the Southwest. Unfortunately, there's just no way to, number one, implement that, and the Cameroonian government seems to forget that the number one desire of the people of the Northwest and the Southwest is to have a say over their own affairs. It's one thing to talk about development, but at the heart of it is their keen desire to have control over their own lives. And until the Cameroonian government understands that, all these plans are going to come and they're not going to succeed.
I agree with that. Thank you, and I yield back the remainder of my time.
Thank you, Mr. Ray. Mr. Burchett, you are recognized for 5 minutes.
Yeah, so we have listened to Tibor Nagy, was a diplomat, and he's still a diplomat, an American diplomat. And when you listen to his outing then, he was talking of the people of Northwest and Southwest want to have a say over their own affairs. What does that tell you? It's another way to tell you that they want their own autonomy, they want their own independence, they want their own decision, they want their own way to control their own life. Okay? But when a diplomat speaks, people were not understanding. They would say, oh, Tibor Nagy is a La République proxy. Some were saying that Tibor Nagy is like an agent of La République. All those kind of things. But we should understand his Tibor Nagy's private, as a private citizen, and when he was a diplomat. Okay, when he left office, right? People started understanding that when you are a diplomat, things are different, okay? You are saying in relation to the government, okay? You can't just say things by yourself, okay? That is the difference. Let's listen to this.
And have established some particular institutions that weren't really doing anything to bring the two sides together. Could you elaborate on that? Because you ran out of time before.
Sure, yes, sir. I understand the Cameroonian government established several commissions, and I'm sorry, I don't know the exact name of it, whether it's the Multicultural Institution for National Reconciliation or something, which on the face of it, and there have been a couple of these, but they have not been provided adequate budget, and they have not really done anything, because what the country needs more than anything else is a genuine, open dialogue, probably to include the diasporas of the Cameroonians, because they have a great deal of interest in this. Because, sir, what's happening, both sides are becoming further and further radicalized. Unfortunately, I believe that the president of Cameroon is being told by his hardliners that he can win this thing militarily. There is no way that they're going to win this militarily. The violence is going to get worse in the Northwest and the Southwest. The arm for an arm, literally an eye for an eye, and the whole world will be blind there. The violence will spread to the West Province. It may even spread to the Littoral Province, which is the large city of Douala. So there has to be something. We are very, very energetically speaking with our allies. That's why I said that we just had in the Security Council this Monday what the United Nations calls an arias, where it's an open debate, and it's so clear that everybody wants to move forward on this. Are sanctions on the table? Everything's on the table moving forward. But we have to bring this situation to an end. Else, there's a possibility of what happened in Nigeria with Boko Haram. Started as a small movement, and now look at it. And it'd be disastrous for the region if the Cameroonian government turned this thing into yet another type of Boko Haram.
Or Boko Haram could come back into Cameroon. Well, how do you mentioned, that it appears to be spiraling out of control because the more the security forces clamp down, the more resistance there is in the Anglophone region. So what can we do that we're not already doing?
Well, like I said, the best we can do for right now is just work with our allies to really make the Cameroonian government understand the need for a real dialogue. And if that doesn't happen relatively quickly, then we have to look at the array of other tools we have in our toolkit, because, frankly, the possibility of sanctions is always there. But it's always better to work in concert with our our friends before we go in that direction, because the frustrating thing is it is in the interest of everybody to have a national dialogue. The situation will not end militarily. Each day, the atrocities will get worse and worse.
Is permanent separation of the two regions a possibility?
Sir, I don't believe so, because I think that most Cameroonians, including in the Southwest and Northwest, have a sense of Cameroonianness, and the concept of a separated, what they call Ambazonia, in my view, is not realistic. Okay. It is the view of the United States of America to recognize the integrity of the country of Cameroon.
Got it. Thank you very much. Now you're back.
Yes, so ladies and gentlemen, you've heard the diplomat Tibor Nagy saying this is why he was in office as U.S. Undersecretary of State. He was making all these comments why he was in office. So know that these are things that American government takes serious. He talked about the La Republic government cannot end this thing militarily. Okay? If you see what he's saying, today, La Republic government have recognized you hear from the general in Bamenda that they cannot end this thing militarily. They have recognized that the military cannot end the crisis, right? That is very important. Another one is the issue of genuine negotiation. When you go and conduct what we call grand national dialogue, call CPGM people to come and gather and talk, it doesn't work like that. Okay? Tibor Nagy made mention of the diaspora, the influence of the diaspora. Okay? The diasporans have great influence. So if the Cameroon government thought that he can go and discuss with some CPGM members there and they'll come out with some special status and just end everything will be go back to normal. It doesn't work like that. There is need for a genuine dialogue. That is what he was saying. But today, talk about the dialogue. Is Cameroon government getting into that? No. The Cameroon government spend all of our time trying to do some manipulation, trying to go behind and, trying to halt all the negotiation process that is trying to go on. Look at what they did for the Swiss-led negotiation. They told the Swiss government that they are not interested in the negotiation. Then come Canada. They told the Canadian government they are not interested in the negotiation. All these are signs that La Republic does not want to go to the negotiation table. Okay? But let's look at what La Republic is doing, because Tibor Nagy made mention of the possibility of sanctions. And that was back then. But listen today, the Cameroon government had two sanctions as for now. They had just two sanctions. The first sanction was the sanction of the visa ban. Remember, most Cameroon government officials cannot travel to the USA. Cannot. They gave them visa ban, and that one still stands. Secondly, they gave them the AGOA cancellation of membership, the African grant, trade grant with the USA. The government of America removed Cameroon membership. We hear of Cameroon government trying to negotiate to come back to AGOA. It's very difficult because the AGOA is a free trade agreement between some states in Africa and America. So that free trade helped government to do their trade without paying taxes. You see, so African countries can send their goods, in America for free. Cameroon is suffering economically, and they are trying to get back to the AGOA. But that is a sanction, okay? That is a sanction because the money that they were giving them through this initiative, they were using it to go and buy weapons. And when American government discovered it, that's when American government removed Cameroon from AGOA. Okay, so I think that was last week. You saw the foreign minister trying to negotiate to come back to the AGOA. They cannot. It's a sanction because of their human rights record. They're using that money that American government was giving them for trade to go and buy materials to come and kill Ambazonians. So the American government gave them that sanction. So for now, Tibor Nagy was talking about sanction. That is the sanction that followed after this hearing in Congress. So I want you people to understand how American government works. American government work in a very different way. Okay, they cannot uplift that AGOA sanction against Cameroon government. They cannot, because the crisis is still going on. The fact that the Cameroon government does not want to go to the negotiation table tells you that they don't want to end the crisis. Okay, and they forget that Canada is working with America. They forget that Switzerland was working with America. And they forget that Canada, America, Switzerland, all these countries are the head of the United Nations. So whatever you're doing, you think that you can manipulate the international community. It's very difficult to manipulate them. The Canadian government, the Cameroon government, halted the visit from a Canadian foreign minister to Cameroon. Why did they cancel that visit at the dying minute? Because they did not want the Canadian government to come and continue with the Canada negotiation. Okay, Canada government is ready to be as a mediator. Switzerland government was ready to act as a mediator. But what happened with a country that does not want to go to a negotiation? They are making the international community know that they don't want the crisis to end. Okay? And that is what the American government said, that the crisis might have a spillover effect. Spillover effect means that it might affect Douala, Yaoundé, other parts, not only Ambazonia. So that was a tip of the iceberg. The American government is helping them with the fight against the terrorists in Boko Haram in the north, but that had nothing to do with the crisis in Southern Cameroon, because American government know that the people of Southern Cameroon had a genuine cause. These people, they know the history, they know everything about this crisis. Okay, so it's quite different. Okay. So let's listen to this and talk about Barrister Ashu is one barrister in Cameroon. He discussed a little bit about some of Tibor Nagy's outing, but his own agenda, his own idea is different. He is looking at a kind of federal system, but the people of Ambazonia have their own final say. So please, whatever anybody say, whatever anybody's opinion about the crisis, it has nothing to do with you, Ambazonians, your own decision. What you want is what we hold, not what France wants, not what La Republic wants, not what any other person wants. Because at the end of the day, they will come to you, Ambazonian people. Do you want to still live with these people after 60 years of all what you have seen? That's the question the United Nations will ask you people. Do you want, after all what you have seen, to still stay with this, in this union? You have the answer. That is what they call referendum. But some people misinterpret the meaning of referendum. Okay? But let's listen to Barrister Ashu, No, but I should. Where is that? Okay.
Good day. This morning, it was reported over Radio France International that Mr. Tibor Nagy, the U.S. Undersecretary for African Affairs, was reported as saying that the solution to the Cameroon Anglophone civil war is for the government of Cameroon to put in place an effective decentralization. I want to believe that what was broadcasted by this French news organ did not come from Mr. Tibor Nagy, because this is a senior U.S. government official who has so far displayed mastery of the Anglophone civil war. In fact, this is the same person who has, time without number, called on the Cameroon government to address the root issue, the root cause of the Anglophone crisis. It would be remembered that the United States ambassador to Cameroon, the US government, the United Nations have always asked that both sides should sit on the table and discuss. By both sides, they have unequivocally made it clear that they are talking about the Republic of Cameroon and the Republic of Southern Cameroon that has today been divided by Republic of Cameroon into Northwest and Southwest regions. In fact, after the much vaunted national dialogue, the US has always said that the government of Cameroon should now go to Switzerland and meet the other side so that they can now have the real dialogue. It is shocking, therefore, to hear Mr. Tibor Nagy, a man who has so far displayed such mastery, to tell the world and the Cameroon people that the solution to the Anglophone crisis is the improbable application of decentralization. Which means, by decentralization, it means Mr. Tibor Nagy is saying that Cameroon should go ahead as a unitary state. And he knows very well that that is impossible, because we have at this moment a raging civil war wherein the Anglophone population have taken up arms and they are fighting against the Cameroon military. And Mr. Tibor Nagy, again, has told the government that he cannot win that war. So how can Mr. Tibor Nagy reconcile the fact that he is telling the Cameroon government that he cannot win that war, should go and negotiate, and then he is again now telling the Cameroon government that the war can be ended by putting in place effective decentralization? We think that Mr. Tibor Nagy is contradicting himself. He should not allow his meeting with Mr. Maurice Kamto influence his objectivity, which had so far been lauded by all and sundry. Instead, Mr. Tibor Nagy should stand for the truth and should stand for what can actually bring peace and reconciliation in Cameroon, which is the restoration of the state of Southern Cameroon, which he himself had on previous occasions said that the Cameroon government had no reason under the sun to erase the state of West Cameroon. How can we then explain that Mr. Tibor Nagy will drag himself into this type of dangerous contradiction by saying that effective decentralization will bring an end to the civil war? It is no secret that even in the Francophone regions, nobody wants the unitary state anymore. Everybody wants to govern his own matters. So how can Mr. Tibor Nagy expect the Anglophone population that has stood up against injustice against assimilation, which was actually recognized by the president of Cameroon in France. He recognized that he had attempted to assimilate the Anglophones and failed. How can Mr. Tibor Nagy expect Anglophones who have stood up against
Thank you. That was Barrister Ashu there trying to give his own opinion about the Tibor Nagy's discussion. You know, Tibor Nagy has been so prompt when it comes to the Ambazonian struggle, and he has so many comments that he made before, and so a lot of people take those discussions and capitalize on certain points. But from what we have seen of the discussion, Tibor Nagy is very consistent, you know, very, very consistent in what he is saying. And we have to look at those issues that he is saying, you know, and try to weigh them in terms of what he thinks can work and what the people of Amazonia know can work. First, Tibor Nagy has always recognized that the diplomacy of our diaspora in the USA has been very effective. He mentions that all the time, that the diaspora, any dialogue, any mediation process between the Cameroon government without the diaspora, he says it will not work. Okay? It will not work, and that is very important. Okay. Second, Tibor Nagy explained what current U.S. policy is towards the Cameroon. I already discussed about that of the AGOA, the discussion about the various sanctions that the U.S. is trying to put in place, apart from the visa ban that they gave most of the U.S. officials, like Atanganji, this Ngang Reassures and all these people trying to keep this war, you know, because they are eating fat out of this war. The top military officials, okay, the Minister of Defense, all these other people who are eating fat, they don't want the crisis to end, okay? So that is what Tibor Nagy is saying. He says it is current U.S. policy, okay, and the current U.S. policy recognizes the existence of boundaries of Cameroon. They recognize, okay. The current U.S. policy may not last long, because as now we know Ambassador Tibor Nagy is trying to mention of he really mastered this Anglophone crisis because he has been ambassador in Cameroon first. You know, he was former U.S. ambassador to Cameroon, so he knows the nooks and crannies of the crisis. Okay, and when he mentioned about those issues, Ambazonians must work hard to raise their voices louder to ensure that those lobbies that the BR regime is paying, a lot of lobbies, lobbying companies in America, that the BR regime is paying a huge amount of money to drown our voices in the USA. Okay, you've seen what is going on now with the purported cases against some Southern Cameroonians. The number of Southern Cameroonians in America is about 10 to 20,000. Okay, 10 to 20,000 And when you go and be having cases with 2 or 3 people, how does that affect the activism here in the USA? It doesn't. Okay, it doesn't. We have activism, we have activists here, we have everybody here in the US. We respect the US law. Okay, when you go and arrest people, you say that we know that people respect American law, but the Cameroon government is paying lobbyists to go and be looking for crimes that Ambazonians are committing in the USA. That does not even concern the crisis back in, you see. When people commit crime here, how does that concern a Cameroon government? How does that concern them? So if they jail Ngang now, for example, Ngang will be going to jail for 46 months. But how is that helping the Cameroon government? How is that helping the Cameroon government? Let's listen to Ngang, who is very high esteem. He's reassuring Ambazonians. Okay, we don't. If the Cameroon government arrests or pay lobbyists to be looking for cases, 1 year, 2 year imprisonment, 1 year, 2 year imprisonment, that is nothing. I am a law enforcement officer. I've worked in the police. I've worked as an investigator. I've worked in many places in America. I know American law. American prison or jails are not like the dungeons in La Republic. They give you 3 square meals. You eat every day. The doctor check you. Everything is like you are like resting. That's why Ngang is saying she is just going to rest, and it's true. When you go to American jails, most like these Mexicans, these other country people, they just commit crime. They go and steal in a shop just for them to be arrested to go and put there. If they don't have house rent, if they want to go, they go there and be relaxing because they take care of you. 3 square meals, you eat more than even somebody who is out there for free. For free, you don't pay nothing. So if they will put somebody in jail in America for 36 months or this, and if they say American government does not jail people for full years, they don't. If they jail you, if you go for jail for example 4 years or 3 years of Ngang, know that she will spend by 1 year and a half. The other 1.5 will be on probation or parole. That's what happens. They'll bail you and you'll be working your term. The only time that they can bring you back to jail is when you commit another crime while you are on that probation period. So that's a good thing with American system. If they give you 10 years imprisonment, you will serve 5. The rest 5 will be on probation. It means that 5, they don't want you to commit another crime again. Then they'll arrest you to come and complete your other term. Then they add now the other charges on top that you commit the crime. But it's a very nice system because first, there you have everything. You have your TV, you have everything, you have your internet, everything you have that you have outside where you have in your prison cell. There's nothing. The issue is that the American government recognizes that there is a crisis going on in Southern Cameroon. Why do you think the American government gave the TPS, temporary protective status, to Ambazonians in America? They know that there is crisis going on. TPS is not giving. TPS now is only about 6 African countries that have TPS. 6. And Southern Cameroon is there because of the crisis going on in Southern Cameroon. So people should not be looking at things differently. No. American law remains American law. It has nothing to do with the crisis back there. Nothing. Yes, nothing. And all those prompt up charges created by by the Cameroon government or this is all bogus. It's all bogus. It has nothing to do with the crisis. Yes, the American government supports the people of Southern Cameroon. I want to say this. President Chris Ano had a meeting 2 days ago with the State Department. Yes, I think he mentioned that in a show yesterday. So people should not get that twisted. The American government is not against the struggle. I think that is one thing people should demarcate between or the policies or the no. If you commit a crime here in America, they will judge you according to the crime here. Okay? So let's listen to Mangang, they will come back to that.
My fellow Ambazonians, this is Ngang. Today is the 22nd of April, 2 days after the sentencing date of the 20th of April. I've come to you guys to let you guys know that I'm still here. I'm doing very well. I've not returned to Minnesota yet. I'm in Maryland. I had some few things to do, so I've been doing it. I will return. And just wanted to come and let you guys know I have a lot of people calling me and crying. They are unhappy. They feel like they're listening to the agents of La Republique that are trying to make much out of nothing. So I've come to let you guys know that no, I'm still here. And I will be here for a while. I have 2 months before I can report to the authorities. But I'm still here. 2 months is a long time. And I can even request for more time if I needed it, and they will give it to me. So you guys need to be happy. You have to be happy. You know why you have to be happy? Because our people are not forgotten. We will not allow that. We'll seize every opportunity to make sure that their plight is noticed. And I know if we do that long enough, with sincerity of heart, we will meet the right Americans who will soon realize that the people to be supporting is not the people that are pretending to be a government. Those people are terrorists. America knows it. They're just doing what they have to do at this time. But we are not going to relent. We are a people made by God for such a time as this, put on this earth to occupy a piece of territory that we have called our home forever. We will not allow any occupying force to come in there and superimpose themselves and start terrorizing us and then accusing us for the terrorism. Are you guys listening? Am I speaking? I have said we are not going to allow an occupying force who wants something from us but have chosen not to be civil about it. They've chosen to terrorize us out of our own land. We will not allow them. We will not allow any of their allies. We are going to call out France and the British people. We are calling France and the British people.
I think we've heard what Mangang have just said. You know, like I've said before, she said, okay, the legal system is the common law system and is the Anglo-Saxon law system here in America, where the court, after giving you your sentence, they give you time. Okay, they'll give you time to, especially if you are in a high status, you have companies, you have families, you have all those. They'll give you time to check into jail. They give you 2 months. Imagine. They gave her 2 months to prepare herself to do what she wants, do what she can before going to sign up. Okay? And the good thing with the system there is that as someone who you are not a threat, okay? You are not a terrorist. You are not somebody who is a threat to any society. You have a good criminal background record. You don't have any crime that you commit. American government will never be afraid of you. That is why they have asked her to take 2 months, okay, to prepare herself, her family, and her business, everything that she's doing. Then she can sign up, okay. And 46 months is nothing, okay. It's nothing. 46 months. She will spend half of that. So we're expecting her to spend 2 years or 1 year and a half. Okay? And that's it. The rest will be out of jail and she'll be fine. Okay? Yeah. It's very yeah. So let's take a break and come back. Yep. So let's listen to Mangang in this other excerpt. Okay.
Who does kale and collect 500,000 from people? Who go and steal people? A whole village they go and steal and collect money. We know who are doing these things. International community knows. They know. So let's stop, give ourselves a break, and be the victims that they are, saying that we are, and use that to our advantage. Because we are victims. We are not terrorists. Nobody has been marked terrorists, and the day anybody come up with that technology to attach it to us, we're gonna hit the streets and tell them who exactly they are. Partners with killers. Thank you. Bye-bye. Good evening, Ambazonians. Now, Ngang, I don't come as I be promised, so I'll come out with very short audios for make specific observations what we need for change as people. One of them, like I talked last time, I said we give a stop the bickering among ourselves, where they instead leave the enemy, it go free, and it weaken the hand of the people the way they really want for help from helping we. One of the things I want really can address, I will give a take very seriously. Now wait see. Now the issue of claiming responsibilities for crimes committed by La Republique as a means to get at each other, or accusing the other group for a crime committed by La Republique so that you want to make your own group may look better. We need to get away from that. It's not hurting the enemy, it's hurting but us. Many of the crimes, the brutal killings, where don't take place for the revolution, where they talk say unidentified gunmen, implying that it could be Amber. Those brutal killings are La Republique. The government of Cameroon is the one committing those crimes, and the international community knows that. But you see, they have waited and delayed so that eventually that will stick on us. Let me explain something. There's something called sending in an international fact-finding mission. They have done that to other people. We have requested for it, but they've been reluctant to accept to doing that, claiming that they are letting Cameroon do his own assessment of his own crimes. Who has ever heard of such a stupid thing? Even if we are stupid, we are not that stupid. So, I'll be quick. What they do by not sending the fact-finding mission is so that Cameroon can have an opportunity to do all these killings with identification that they want to attribute to us, and then keep it vague enough, and then use their propaganda agents who are all over social media to keep labeling Amba terrorists, those terrorists that have not worked well for our revolution, and bringing it to us all to contemplate on it and take proper action. No more talking, being the judge over your brother as far as claiming or attributing any murders towards them. It's not helping us, and they know that. The international community knows that. They know they are playing a game that doesn't make them look good, and they think that we are not smart enough to understand and bring this in the light. I am bringing it in the light. Any group going forward who goes and carries out sees that some murder has taken place, and they quickly start coming and saying they are the ones that did this, or that other person did that, they are the enemies of our revolution. We are not in that business anymore. The UN and international bodies can put a fact-finding mission and send it down to Cameroon without the permission of Cameroon, by the way. There are clauses there that they can do that. They are not using that. Why are they not using that? Haven't they heard us say that there's genocide going on? Are they not killing just our own people? Are they not aware of this problem that was generated? So my people, I am coming to you to caution you people. No more claiming of any murder in our area when they have not sent in a fact-finding mission to determine who killed who. We are not going to hear side stories about it. And because that's the decision, every murder now going forward is done by the military. Look at the Santa killing. Santa killing, can you even kill any of your enemy like that? Your own enemy that's your brother, can you kill, a real enemy, let alone the one that's your brother? We don't do that. We don't kill like, you see how the same way they killed our children in Kumba, the same way they killed in Gabo, the same way they executed those that mother with her infant baby in the back. Can you imagine the brutality? Let's not lose sense. Leave the international community and the Cameroon allies, let them be singing their song that they are singing about violence on both sides. We know who is committing the crime. We know who is kidnapping the most. We know who does Calais and collect 500,000 from people. Who go and steal people, a whole village they go and steal and collect money. Who have neighborhood squabbles inside our own community. They will shout, kidnapping for ransom and all that. They've done that for the last, 5 years? And now, you are beginning to hear who are using it. You are beginning to hear America say violence on both sides. Remember when they started and tried to talk about that violence on both sides? Those were the non-profit organization trying to say that, like Amnesty International and all those people. We shouted them down. We used Twitter to make them understand that we are not children and we're not going to have it. They back out because we chased them around, follow up some of them, their background history to show that they were agents of France coming in and disguised as non-profit organization. What did they do? They abandoned that. Now, when they have thought that they've abandoned it, they let Cameroon continuously do those things without them sending any fact-finding mission to come and establish who the hell has been doing these things. Now, what is happening again, my people? You are hearing, I am saying this because I know for a fact that the story about crimes on both sides came up. And why? Because as Cameroon goes and does these bad acts of killing, brutal killing, look at the one in Santa, look at Gabo, look at all these other things, look at how they shot that mother with her children, execution style. That is their history. That's their style. We were not killers. We are just trying to defend ourselves. So we don't kill people like you have a vengeance against them. Who has been doing that? Look at the killing in Kumba. All trademarks of La Republique. They kill them, and then they wait for a while, and the dishonest international community wait and give it enough time for their agents to label it terrorist. Soon you'll be hearing, if anything, they're just ashamed to start talking about us as terrorists, because they know practically La Republique is more terroristic, has been started the terrorism than anybody, any group in Ambazonia. So I am calling on you people to stop with the internal bickering and trying to score scores when there's no football field. Stop that. It's not helping us. When you do that, you are getting La Republique off the hook, and they just increase their level of brutality. And can you imagine that this...
Thank you. That was Ngang there, trying to explain those things that we have been talking all along. And you can see how how remorseful she is when it comes to the struggle. You know, so you can tell how she has sacrificed, she has put everything for the struggle and for the liberation of the homeland. So now let's go back to some tweets of Tibor Nagy, who has been tweeting a lot. I got some of his tweets, and I want us to try to go through them, because these tweets are the hallmark of some of the issues that we have been talking about. Okay, this one, yeah,
people.
Let's see. Okay. These are some of the tweets that let's start with this one. The first one, Tibor Nagy say Ambazonia praying for 2023 will show dramatic progress, alleviating suffering of Southern Cameroon, unity, at least of purpose among Ambazonian leaders, and recognition of Cameroon government that their policy will never defeat Ambazonian spirit. I want you people to look at this tweet. Okay, let's analyze it one by one. The first one says, this was his tweet, the first tweet for 2023, and he was trying to see how there will be progress, dramatic progress in alleviating the suffering of the people of Southern Cameroon, and unity of purpose among the leaders. We have seen a lot of conferences, okay? Leaders trying to do conferences, and if we have been telling them, the conferences that they are holding, if it's not of purpose, if it's just to go around the world and having fun, drinking wine, that's not conference of purpose. Conferences must have a topic, a subject matter, and resolutions that they want to fulfill. I've seen so many conferences. The activists have conferences, Belgium, the one they call them Big Four, they have conferences. But if those conferences don't boil down to some meaningful purpose, that's what Tibor Nagy is saying there. And it's true, because he has been saying this so many times. Okay. Then going down the tweet, he said, recognition by Cameroon government that their policies will never defeat Ambazonian spirit. We have been saying this all along. Okay, you have seen this is a movement. Okay, and it has been into the hearts and minds of Southern Cameroonians now. They don't want this union. La Republic should understand this. Okay? This is 7 years of declared crisis caused by Biya and his junta. They are not seeing any headway, but they are still continuing something that they know they will not win. The international community has already reminded them, please stop this. You will not win this thing. This thing is Ambazonian spirit. Okay? You see the little children already singing Ambazonia anthem. They are dancing Ambazonian music. They are doing everything Ambazonia. They are attending community schools. They are the spirit is there. Okay? The spirit is there. This tweet is about okay, imagine if the factors in Amazonia were reversed and majority of Anglophone government was brutalizing a Francophone population. Anyone doubt that France will be hyperactive in supporting Ambazonians? Okay? That is what he was saying. This one was purposeful for France, trying to hold France accountable for supporting the Biya regime. And it is something that America understand, okay, because that was their colonial past, okay. But it has gone to an extent where there's need for more sanctions, okay. I always say that if Vladimir Putin was given sanction on his war against the people of Ukraine, why not Biya? Biya has committed so many crimes. Okay? The same way Putin invaded Ukraine is the same way Biya invaded Southern Cameroon when he declared war in 2017. So the treatment of Putin should not be different to the treatment of Biya. Biya should be given sanctions too, because he has caused suffering and pain on the people of Southern Cameroon. The next tweet is talking about for the Southern Cameroon community to achieve its goal for Ambazonia. It is essential to look through the windscreen and not the rear view mirror. I hope you understand what it's trying to say between the windscreen. Okay, the windscreen means the front and not the rear view mirror. Okay, the mirror by the side of the door of the car. So you have to look through them, So, focusing on the past is an academic exercise that will not achieve the future. Only unity of purpose will. Split agendas make community irrelevant. This is his advice to the Ambazonian leaders. And we've seen Comrade Chris Ano calling a meeting. We have a meeting in May the 5th and the 7th, where most leaders have signed up. We also have also seen even the activists trying to have their own conference in Belgium. These are hopes that there is that unity of purpose. Okay? We don't want people who are claiming to be too powerful for them to collaborate with others. What is wrong with collaboration? What is wrong with unity for all the leaders? Okay? We cannot be accusing La Republic of what they are doing, then we are doing the same thing. That is hypocrisy. If you accuse La Republic of corruption, or you accuse them of their form of government or their way they're doing things, you cannot be doing the same thing. Because There is no democracy in La Republic. There is no democracy. So when you accuse them of not having a good democracy, but you cannot even sit down with your own brothers and talk, what does that tell you? We should be cognizant of the fact that most international community want to see Amazonian leaders sit on one table and talk. Some leaders don't want because they fear for their own position. I don't know the kind of position that they are afraid of. We are in the heart of a crisis. We have not yet gotten our headway. But some people sit there and they are fighting for position. What position are you fighting for? What kind of position are you fighting where your people have not been freed? They give you a position. They say, okay, it's your time to resign. You don't want to leave. You don't want to resign. You say, I'm not resigning. It's terrible. The next tweet is the next tweet is talking about he's wishing every success for Canada's effort to bring peace to Southern Cameroon, Ambazonia, but also praying that this will result in an outcome and is not simply another process used by the Cameroon government to delay it, to delay a real solution. Okay, so he's talking about the Canada discussion that was initiated by the people of La Republique. The La Republique government initiated this, the Prime Minister. Okay, but people were very shocked when the Minister of Communication of La Republique came out and said that they have no business with Canada. I mean, how do you ask a Prime Minister to go and do all this work, sacrifice everything, money, everything? Then when the Canada government say yes, we are willing to work to help resolve the crisis, you start saying no. So I don't know exactly what La Republique wants, but from the look of things will change because we are seeing La Republique, doing too much, because very soon the international community will not have patience anymore with him. And so I don't think we'll have another tweet, but that was some of the tweets that we have read from. Let me see that. Okay. Yes. So we hope that we also heard about the sentencing of the Nera guys in from Taraba. Okay, we see most of them were given 7 years. 7 years in prison and 12 years in prison. But we want to say this. Anybody in La Republique prison is illegally arrested. Okay? None of them has any crime. Self-defense is a human right. And whoever is in jail today in La Republique dungeon because of the crisis of Southern Cameroon is not supposed to be there. From the Nera 10, the first leadership of Ambazonia that was running up in the Nera hotel. And these guys, 47 from Taraba, that were taken to Cameroon, arranged by Favor Nkongo or whoever, they were taken from Nigeria. Majority of these guys are asylum seekers. So we ask ourselves, why should asylum seekers be arrested? I've never seen that happen. The United Nations should have prevented this. And what we see is that the Cameroon government went there with that guy they call Echo. He's a minister there. He went there and negotiated this fake deal, and the police officers did not even know the reality. They just fold them there and pick up. You see, but what we are saying here is that the Nigerian High Commission already passed a judgment for the Naira 10 and the Taraba 47. These are judgment that says that all these guys should be sent back to Nigeria, because Nigeria realized that it was against international law to pick up asylum seekers, refugees, Nigerian citizens for that matter, and send them to a country where they are under duress on an order, Excuse me, I have a caller calling. Hello? Hello? Yeah. Let me call you back. Yeah. Sorry for that interruption. So, that is what is happening, okay? If you are watching me from, those who are watching from everywhere, just know that we are live on IDMI Media. But I was talking about the Taraba 47 and the Naira 10, okay? These are Southern Cameroonians who were running from a crisis, and the Naira 10 were leaders, okay? And they were arrested. Now they are giving them 7 years imprisonment, some 12 years imprisonment. They have been there for almost 6 years. In normal circumstance, the year you spend and as a waiting of trial should be cut from your year in jail. That's what it's supposed to be. It means that if you spend 7 years in waiting trial, okay, and they give you after 6 years of you waiting trial, because that's how long it is, okay, you stay in jail and be waiting trial. You see, so when they give after 6 years of waiting trial, if they give you those years, okay, they declare your sentence, they have to cut all the years you spend. If you spend 6 years, if they give you 7 years, it means you have to spend just 1 year. That's how it's supposed to be. But in La Republic, they don't count. I hope they count it. Because first, these guys are illegally arrested. They are not supposed to be there. The Nigerian court, the United Nations Human Rights Commission has also said these guys should be released. But Cameroon government does not respect international law. They don't respect those international orders, okay? That is a problem with Cameroon. But we are hoping that the suffering of these guys who were taken from Nigeria and to Cameroon, the suffering should stop. The lockup should stop, okay? These guys are innocent. They did not commit any crime. The only crime is that they are Ambazonians and they flee from the crisis, okay? And the Cameroon government thought bringing these guys from Nigeria to Cameroon will help in them ending the crisis. But all along the years again, they arrest and kill. Born, arrest, kill. Born, arrest, kill. That's how they do. And you expect these same people that you are mistreating them like this to come and stay with you. It's crazy. It's crazy, but I don't think that will work again. And we have had enough. Yes, we have had enough. And we thank them for what they have been doing to us. Yes. Thank you for watching. Thank you, and we're gonna be coming up with different programs. Okay, thank you for being there, and you enjoy our Mama Ambazonia. These are mothers who are there and they're proud. Thank you, and God bless you all, and stay blessed. Thank everyone. Thank you all for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button, okay? For more video and more video, please don't forget.